he has been in Russia for some years now. He does all those processing for us. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Kelly is actually a teacher. He's teaching in Russia. He's also an English translator, and of course, he's currently doing his master's in the Russian Federation. And of course, he's an expert when it comes to migrating, to the Russia Federation. And of course, over the yes, of course, she has actually been a very great help to a lot of Africans who are actually in this part of the world, to migrating to the Russian Federation and all that. And of course, we are building a community already in the Russian continent. And we're going to hear some exciting stuff about what is actually going on, the real stuff going on right now in Russia. All right, so Kelly, I hope you can hear me loud and clear. I'm so sorry, for the little because I know every hour, every moment actually counts big time in Russia in terms of he's currently at work right now, and he's doing a whole lot of things, simultaneously, just trying to multitask. So Kelly, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
All right, welcome, brother. Super excited to actually see you. I can
Thank you
understand
so.
that right now you must be super duper,
In fact, if not,
yeah,
if not, this is also a lot of people need to know about this. A lot of people need to
that's
we
right.
need to open the eyes of a lot of people
That's right.
about the Russian Federation. If not, I'm actually like very, very busy right now.
That's right.
But
That's right.
we just have to make time.
Thank you so very much. Thank you so very
Yeah.
much for that sacrifice. Okay, so I think we just need to get into business so very quickly.
Yes, please, very good, sir.
It's going to be more of interactive section. All right, we're going to be having some, some rapport and some flows because I have some numbers of some questions I actually want to ask you, and of course, I want people to listen to all this, live themselves. So first, Kelly, I want you to tell us, today, what's your journey, your journey to the Russian Federation, what actually got into your mind? Because I know in those days you were doing a program with is it Afe Babalola or something?
Yeah,
Aha, good. So you study here back, in those days in
yeah.
the
I
US.
did my BSc in Nigeria.
So what got you to, to start thinking about Russia in the first place, among several countries you have gone to? Because I know your sister is in UK. So Canada, right? I think
Yeah, Canada, Canada. Yeah,
she's in Canada. Aha.
yeah,
So
yeah.
why Russia? Why Russia in the first place? Please go ahead.
Okay. First of all, I really want to greet everybody on this call right now, and it's a really good thing that you all are on this call. Because it's gonna be every information we're gonna be passing across is gonna be very, 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 very important. All right. So, I want to say good evening. I want to say for those that understand Yoruba, Ekale, and you might know that I will speak Russian, but you don't understand. Nobody understands Russian here, so. What is that Russian? So just further, right? So yeah, me choosing Russia in the first place, I used to tell people I actually had the opportunity. If I wanted to go to UK, I wanted to go to Canada, I would have, all right. But I knew what I wanted, and I'm this kind of person that I do research a lot, right? I do research of
Yeah.
my own. I don't follow what people say. I don't right from when I was very young. I don't follow crowd. If everybody's going somewhere, if I do my research and that place is not for me, even if I'm the only one going the other way, I don't mind. I'll follow that lonely road as long as I know what I'm doing. All right. So which I feel like most people when you talk about talking traveling abroad, they don't have the right mentality about traveling abroad. Everybody wants to go to UK, everybody wants to go to Canada, everybody wants to go to Finland, everybody wants to go to, and those places now, they are not doing shakara because they know the influx of people that are coming in. You understand? So they start doing shakara. And the point is, I used to tell people jokingly that people in the UK, there are people in the UK that are not okay. Forget. In fact, coming abroad, I just feel like it just depends on your mentality. Most Nigerians they just feel like, oh, once I don't enter Canada like this, I go just get money, I go just reach. Like maybe they are picking money on the floor or something like that. Okay, so okay, it's like my guy wants me to turn on my videos. So it's like maybe they're picking money on the floor or something like that, right? But it's not like that, okay? Everybody, you need to have the right mentality when it comes to like traveling abroad. All right. That's what I used to tell people. Okay. So me, I did my research, right? You know, I used to tell people when I was coming to Russia, I never even told my mom I was coming to Russia because if I told her, I know she would have different mind. Because when you talk about Russia, people have different things to say about Russia. Even I can say 90% of people on this call right now, you've heard different things about Russia, different ugly things. Some people say, oh, there is war. Some people say, racism. Some people say, everybody have different things to say. But most of these things, because most people don't do research, like you don't really know sometimes what people just hear is what they just put on their head, just put on their mind that, oh, this one said this. I was asking somebody recently, was telling me, oh, there's war. I said, who told you there's war in Russia? He said somebody told him. I asked him, I said, the person that told you, has the person traveled before? He said, no. I said, so the person hasn't even left his local government before, and he told you that there's war, and you said, believe that there's war. Like, you understand? And media propaganda is real. So me, personally, I did my research very well, and I saw that what I wanted, Russia is one of the countries that could give me. I had other countries in mind, but I chose Russia one because of the simplicity, because of the easiness, because of like everything I wanted, like I could get it here. And all glory belongs to God. I've been fulfilling destiny in this federation. You understand? So I used to tell people that if you know the Idon, the Idon to shell in Russia, you will be rushing, you'll be rushing. You want to enter Russia fast, fast. If you know the Idon. But because of what people see on the media, people used to most people I tell people like Russia has resources. You understand? And it's because of these resources, that's why even America is after them. You understand? Like they have, and in short, I can say the fourth economic power is Russia, the Russian Federation. The fourth economic power in the world is Russian Federation. So, but because people are ignorant about. So, but me personally, I did my research and I saw that Russia is where I'm coming. You understand? So that's why I'm here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's great. That's great. Super, super duper excited to actually hear all that. Okay, so the next question I actually wanted to ask you was the fact that what are for instance, for those who are here who also wanted to, take a kind of that bold step that you took to say they want to join you in Russia to start, making their dreams and everything also count. So what are the job prospects like for Nigerians who are actually in Russia? And which of those regions or which of the industries, rather, do they have a high demand, for foreign workers and all that? That's those who are coming here from Nigeria and all that. You understand my question?
Yeah. Now, you see, this question now is in two parts, right? And I really hope that everybody on this call, they're getting everything I'm saying, because all these questions are very, very important. You're planning to migrate, all these things are important for you to know. All right. So talking about the job aspect for Nigerians in Russia, like there are a lot of job opportunities in the Russian Federation that people like a lot. Coming to Russia, there's nothing like work visa to Russia, but when you're in Russia, once you have a student visa, you will get to work. Work as many times as you like. Because here,
Okay.
there is no restriction of work. Everybody gets to work as many times as they like. All right. There's no, in some countries they'll tell you work 20 hours a week, or work. In fact, some countries, if you won't work more than the expected time as a student, like you can even get sanctioned for it. Okay. But in Russia, there is this freedom when it comes to working. You don't even need to get a work permit to work in Russia. Once you have a study visa, you get to work as many times as you like. It depends on your strength. There are a lot of work in the Russian Federation. In short, you yourself, you you see work self, you run. Now, when it comes about it's the truth. Because now when it comes to work, right, I'm going to split it into three. Okay, we have physical work, we have online jobs, we have people that are using their skill to make money. All right. Now let's talk about physical job first, because that's what most people do. Okay. There are a lot of physical jobs that people do. Okay. That earns them good money. Most of the jobs in
Okay.
Russia, you are paid per most of the jobs in Russia, you are paid per hour. Some you are paid per volume. Okay. While some you are paid per day. Okay. So it depends. Okay. There's per day, there's per hour, there's per volume. Now, there are a lot of physical jobs that you can do. Maybe you are a driver, you're forklifters, you're working in the construction company, working in a farm, working in a factory, you know, a lot, working as a teacher, a lot of physical jobs that people do in the Russian Federation. But I used to tell people that there are some jobs here that if you don't understand the language, and that's why I know you're still going to ask me that, but let me just chip it in. The language is very, very important because here, English is not the first language. Russian language is the first language. But it doesn't mean that, because some people see it as a barrier, but I still put it's not a barrier. Russians speak English, but normally it's normal, it's even in Nigeria. We prefer to communicate in our local dialect because when you communicate in your local dialect, you feel at home. You feel more relaxed. Yeah, you understand? So they prefer to communicate more in their local dialect. All right. So
yeah, that's a very good one. So what
yeah.
you're saying, Kelly, sorry for cutting in there. So what you're saying in essence is that when it comes to the aspect of Russia into that economy and they make better, income and all that compared to their country.
Your network just skipped. Can you repeat yourself, please, sir?
Okay, sorry. Okay, can you hear me? Okay, good. So what I'm saying, right, is that what you are telling us in an essence is that every Nigerian, all right, or anyone who is actually in the African continent trying to migrate into the Russian Federation, of course, we know that Russian Federation, they have a robust economy. So what you're saying in essence is that those people who are actually going towards that area, they get to make money. Because that I guess everyone on this call, that's the most important thing. They want to make
Definitely.
money, something much better than what
they are getting currently.
what they earn back home. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
Awesome. So that to my next question, I wanted to ask you, so that you can actually take it together because you're taking the thought around the language thing. So let me just quickly ask you that question. So how important is actually to learn this Russian language? Do we need to learn it before migrating, or we need to learn it, when we got there or something? So what are the resources, the language courses and all that are actually available, for one to actually learn in Russia and,
Thank you.
So
in fact, I feel like a lot of people need to really hear this and understand, okay? Talking about Russian language, like I said before, English is not the first language, okay? Russian language is the first language. You understand?
Yeah.
So, but people see it as a barrier. But I used to tell people it is not a barrier. In fact, you don't even have to learn Russian language from Nigeria. All right. While in Russia, that's why it's always advisable. Anyone that wants to come to Russia, come in with a study visa. Okay. Now you are coming in to study a language program. Okay. You can study this language program in Russia while you are working. So you are working, yes. So you are working and studying at the same time. So you come into, because you see, what people don't know is that Russians, they take pride when you say you want to come and study their language. It makes them feel special. It makes them feel important. You understand? So when you come in, so you get a study visa to come in to study the language program. It is called PATFAC here. So you come in to study the language program. In fact, after your language program, you're going to get a certificate, the PATFAC certificate. That certificate is very useful. Like there's no any document you want to get in Russia. Maybe you want to get your work permit, you want to get married, you want to get your permanent resident, your citizenship. They're going to ask for that PATFAC certificate. You understand? So that's why that language program is like a foundational program for anyone that want to come and study or work in Russia. So you come in to study the language program. So you are not studying it in Nigeria, you are studying it in Russia. So you're working at the same time also. You understand? So you see, this language is very important. People see it as a barrier, but I used to say, it is not a barrier. Okay? Because trust me, either you understand the language or not, you are able to work in Russia. Because there are a lot of jobs you can do that does not even require you to speak the language. But on the other hand, the language is also important.
Okay.
Because if you are living in a country where you don't understand their main language, you are just like an illiterate. Trust me. You understand? So
That's
the
true.
language is also important. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that if you don't understand the language, I have a lot of my guys here that they are successful businessmen in Russia. They don't even understand the language. So in all their businesses, they employ Russians, like they employ people that understand the Russian language to work there. I don't know if you understand. So
Yeah.
like it depends on how you are able to like maximize opportunities here, like I used to tell people. So, but still on still, the language is still important, okay? Because here there are some jobs that you can't get if you don't have the basic knowledge of the language. And I used to tell people, this language is not, no be say, it's not like, I don't know if I'm permitted to speak pidgin. No be say it's not like you are needed to like understand the whole thing in the language. No, you can just understand the basics just for you to be able to communicate. You understand? When somebody tells you something, you're able to understand. If you want to communicate, you're able to, you understand. So it doesn't mean that now this language program is for 1 year. Now it doesn't mean that after during that 1 year, you're going to understand everything in the language. It's not possible. Even if you spend 5 years there, you can't know it than people that are already that are born here. You understand? So it's normal, but just for you to know the basics, because if you don't understand the basic language, there are some jobs that you might not get. For example, a caregiver job. Now we have caregiver jobs in Russia, but if you don't know how to communicate in Russian, like there's no way you can get those kind of jobs. The kind of job I'm doing now in Russia, I'm a translator in Russia. I translate from English to Russian, Russian to English. Like, if you don't have a basic knowledge of the language, you might not be able to get that such kind of job. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. But it doesn't mean that you can't work. There are a lot of people that have come into Russia. Some of our clients that came into Russia about a few weeks ago, a few months ago, all of them are working. All of them. And they don't even understand the language. I don't know if you get what I'm saying now. So, but there are some jobs that if you don't understand the language, you can't get, which is normal. So I don't know if people are really able to. So I used to tell people, don't see the language as a barrier. It is not a barrier. All right. When you come into the federation, you can start working. From where you are working,
that's good. Your point is well noted.
Yeah. So from where you are working to, now from there to you go, they know the language small. There's nothing above learning. If you put your mind to it, there's nothing above learning. And you coming here, you know what you are coming for. You know what you want to achieve. So language cannot be a barrier for you. Language cannot be a blockage for your success. Like, if it's language, you will learn it now. You will rugged down. We'll go rugged down now.
Of course, that's good.
You understand what I'm saying? So that's
so
just
Kelly.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. Thank you so very much for that. Also, in the course of this question and all those things, is it that you type it in the chat room, or you can also raise your hand immediately we are done with this session. We'll attend to it in case your question was not asked. All right. So the next question I want to ask you, Kelly, is that how are Nigerian educational and professional qualification recognized in Russia? You understand? And what steps are actually necessary for the validation, of those equivalency and all that? For instance, someone who studied, let's say, banking and finance in Nigeria, who is a graduate, right? Is our own BSc recognized over there, or you need to get there and start all over again or something? Do you understand my question?
You see, yeah, I understand you perfectly. All right. Now, like I said before, either you want to come here to come and do your bachelor's program or your master's degree or your PhD whatsoever. The first thing you have to do is to come in to study the language program. The language program is the foundation for everybody. It's the best way to come into the Russian Federation, because even during the language save, you can get scholarship, whereby after the language, you can even study for free. All right. So after the language program, now the requirement for the language program is just your O level and your international passport. That is all. When I say O level, WAEC, your NECO, there are some schools here that even accept NAPTEB. Okay. Then after the language program, you can now further. Okay. If you are coming for your bachelor's program, then you need your O level. If you are coming for your masters, then you need your BSc certificate and your transcript or your HND. Yes, some schools also accept HND. Okay, if you're coming for masters, if you have your HND certificate and your transcript, all right. Then also, maybe you're coming for your PhD, then it means that you must have your master's certificate and your transcript. Okay, so all those things are recognized in Russia. Okay, so that's just it.
Awesome.
There's no big deal about it here.
Awesome. Thank you so very much for that. I really appreciate that. All right, the next question I want to ask you, which is very important. What is the, average cost of living, in most of those cities around the Russia compared to Nigeria right now? You are in Nigeria, you have actually lived there for many years before you go to Russia, I think about 3 or 4 years back.
Yeah.
So, what are the primary expenses like when it comes to food, housing, transportation, things we need to consider compared to the country? Are you seeing Russia
Okay.
much better off than Nigeria?
Okay. Now you see, I used to this question you asked me. I used to tell people something, right? When it comes to Russia, right? And this thing I'm saying now, it depends on the city. There are some cities in Russia that are actually like very, very expensive. Okay. While there are some cities that are very, very okay. Like those are cities I used to advise all our clients to go. You understand? Like you're coming into a country for the first time. It's not advisable to go to all those loud cities, all those big cities like Moscow, like St. Petersburg. Like just avoid those cities for now. You understand? Because the standard of living is very, very high. But you see, there are a lot of cities in Russia. Russia has one of the best standard of living. When I say one of the best, I mean one of the best standard of living. You know, I used to say that one of the best way of living is if your income is higher, like very, very high than your expenditures. All right. If your income is equal to your expenditure, it means you're at a zero level. Or if your income is lower than your expenditure, then it means you are on a minus zero level. But one of the best way, yeah. One of the best way of living comfortably is if your income is way, 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 way higher than what you are spending now. And that's one of the things that Russia is going to do for you. Like one of the best standard of living. I used to say jokingly in some of my sections that you that you're living in Nigeria, you're living a more expensive life than we that were in Russia.
Wow.
Like you are living a more expensive life than we that were in Russia. In Russia, it's very easy to be a baller because things are relatively cheap. You see somebody buying things, you think, oh, this person is spending money. Meanwhile, he's not really spending money. You understand? Because things are ridiculously cheap in the Federation. All right.
Wow.
So when you talk about your food, the only thing that are a little bit expensive is the African dishes, like your African, when I say your native food. Your When I say native food, you know what I'm talking about now. Your goosey,
Those
your
are the
bono,
corn,
your gari, yeah,
afang.
all the palm oil, all those things. But talking about
Correct.
normal food stuff like your rice, your beans, your red,
Indomie.
granite oil, your chick, all those things are relatively cheap, like ridiculously cheap in the Federation. I was sharing it one day. I went to the store to get full chicken. Like when I say, our own full chicken here is full chicken. It's not like Nigerian full chicken that is not full. Your full chicken in Nigeria is not full. Who's a full chicken? Is full. Like we're buying full chicken. When I change it to naira, it was around 1.5, some 2,000. The highest I saw there was around 2.5 for full chicken. I don't know how much they're selling full chicken in Nigeria right now, but I know it's a lot more than that. All right. So, like, what are you now telling me? We're buying, if you buy spaghetti in my city now, spaghetti is like, if I change it to naira, it's about 200, maybe 250 naira. You understand? Like, things are just relatively cheap. So, you find out that you earn money, you earn more, but you are spending little. If I take 2,000 rubles to the magnet, I know what I'm going to use to buy. Like, I will buy something.
Hello, are you there? Can you hear me?
Are you with me, sir?
Yeah, I'm with you. We can hear you
Okay.
now. We
Yeah.
lost your mic somewhere. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So I was saying that if I take 2,000 naira to the magnet to go and buy something, like I'll buy something, everywhere's going to be full. You understand?
Yeah.
Like
Awesome.
the standard of living is just very, very okay. But like I said, it depends on the city. So if you're coming to Russia, don't go and be going to Moscow, go and be going to start. So you see, and I used to tell people that all those low-key cities, all those suburbs, that is where you make the real money. People don't know. That's where you make money.
Wow.
You make enough money, you spend little. Talking
Wow.
about housing, apartments, they are relatively cheap, depending on your budget, depending on the standard you want. Okay. First of all, let's take it from the hostel dormitories. We have hostel dormitories that are very, very comfortable. In fact, I used to tell people if you are staying in the hostel dormitory, it's just as if you are living for free because you see an hostel dormitory by you are paying 10,000 naira every month or 15,000 naira every
Wow.
month. Relatively ridiculously cheap, trust me. And everything you need is there. The only thing is that maybe there are two people in a room. You understand what I'm saying now? So, but also if you want
Yeah.
to get an apartment, I used to tell people apartment is based on your income. All right. So you want to book apartment, maybe you'll be budgeting like 150,000 naira every month or 200K every month. Now, all these things are in naira. If you change to rubles, it's a very small money in rubles. Trust me. You understand? So if you talk about rubles, maybe you talk about 10,000 rubles every month or 15K rubles every month for your apartment. You know, depending on your income. Oh, kì í ṣe jù ẹ lọ. You know, and now abroad you day when any even if it's one room you get, it's very presentable. I don't know if everybody can hear me. It's very presentable.
Awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
It's not like in Nigeria you go and rent some ridiculous house and then you can't even invite your friends or your family because the house is looking so tattered. Understand? So yeah, so that's just it. All right. So you
Awesome.
get your apartment based on your income. You understand what I'm saying now? So and you talk about
Yeah.
transportation too. We have different modes of transportation, cheap transportation. You want to use the metro, you want to use the metro, you want to use the afterbus, you want to use the taxi. It's your choice. All right. So all these things are
Yeah.
just easy, it makes life easy. You earn money, you enjoy your life. Like you understand what I'm saying now? You enjoy the peace and comfort.
Awesome.
You understand what I'm saying?
Awesome.
So
I like
that's
that.
just it.
So the next question I actually wanted to ask you, thank you so very much for doing a very fantastic justice to that question. So the next one I want to ask you, it's about the cultural difference. So what are the major cultural differences between Nigeria and Russia? And of course, what should one actually expect in terms of social norms, all this etiquette, the way we used to roll about amala and foriro and everything, and the way we roll it, the kind and you use your hand to chop this thing properly, all those things. So what's social life like, in
Now you
Russia?
see when you
Everybody
talk
is
about
busy.
culture, when you talk about you all know that it's gonna be is completely different. Okay.
Wow.
And Russia here, they have their own rules, they have their own regulations. You understand? So which
Okay.
and that is why I said before that language program is very, very important because even during the language program, you're gonna get exposed to the different cultural you're gonna be they're gonna make you abreast to different cultural stuffs in Russia. You understand? The cultural ways, their cultural life, the kind of food they eat, how to, all those things they just teach you everything during the Russian language program. All right.
Language
So,
program. Wow.
yeah, they have their own rules. They have their own way of life. They have their own. There are some things that you do in Russia here that is normal. Whereby if you do in Nigeria, is problem. There are some things that you do in Nigeria is normal. If you do it in Russia, is problem. You understand? For
Wow.
example, now is no here now smoking of cigarette is normal. You see a boy of 5 years smoking cigarette on the street. In Nigeria, is not possible.
Wow.
In Nigeria, it's not
And I
possible.
and I guess it's because of the weather condition or something, right?
Yeah,
The
something like
traffic
that.
condition.
You see a small
Okay.
boy of 5 years, boy of 10 years smoking on like legally, or even what's when you even see policeman say smoking, then what? If you tell policeman to give you cigarette, he will give you cigarette and smoke. You understand? So, but that's also everybody have their own cultural stuff. For example, in
Yeah.
Russia, like Russia take pride in their historical this thing. They have a lot of historical images, artifacts and all like that. All right. So they
Wow.
cherish those they cherish their historical stuff. All right. They cherish it so much that you can't even you can't even go and dance in front of it. I don't know if you understand.
Wow.
You can't dance in
Yeah.
front of, you can't dance in front of, maybe there's a historical this thing in the central of the city. You can't go, you can take pictures, but you can't dance there. If you dance there, they arrest the person immediately, like with immediate effect. You understand? So everybody have their rules. One thing about Russians is that they are very, very peaceful people. Like, they are very peaceful. They are very loving, but you don't go against their rules. You understand? You don't go against their
Wow.
cultures, their traditions, and all like that.
Wow.
And like I used to
Wow.
say, only ìlú tí ò bá sófin kò ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀. You understand? So as long as you're able to abide by their rules, abide by their laws, like, everybody lives freely, everybody enjoys themselves. You understand? So when you talk about the kind of food they eat, if I start mentioning them now, you might not know them. But all this our own local food, amala, all this thing. I'm a Yoruba boy, conquer Yoruba boy, amala, inyo, all this thing. We know how we do them, but it's not Russian food. I remember the last time I gave my Russian girl amala and egusi, she purged almost throughout the day. Understand? Because she's not used to it. So they have their own type of,
That's really good. That's really good.
They have their own type of food, When you talk about the kuritsa, they eat the kuritsa, they eat a lot of their rubbish.
Okay.
Me, I'm not really into.
So, Kelly, thank you so very much for that. Another thing again, I want us to talk about, still around the university, the educational sector, in Russia. So what are the kind of opportunities that are actually available for higher education in Russia? And of course, how do Russia university compare internationally when it comes to competition and all that? Then what scholarships or financial aid options are actually available for international students, like some of the Nigerians who are interested to actually go into Russia? So all these things they really, really want to know. So
I
what's
feel
your
like
thought?
this is something that people can also like do research by themselves. When you talk about education in Russia cannot be sidelined. Like, education in Russia is standard, like top notch.
Awesome.
Anywhere you take it to, the apologies to that does not understand Yoruba. But anyway, you take it to like this, very fun. No, like, education in Russia is standard, top notch, respected.
Awesome.
Like, respected. All right. Talking about scholarship, there are 1,001 scholarships in the Russian Federation. A lot. But I used to tell people it's always kind of like it's always like kind of difficult when you apply for those scholarship from your country, from Nigeria. Okay. Most of the scholarship is very sweet to get when you are already in the federation. That's why during your language program, for those that are coming in for the language program, during your language program, you get exposed to different scholarship programs. There are a lot of sites. Say that if I mention it for you now, if you type it on your phone, it cannot open. I don't know if you get what I'm saying now. Whereby those that are in Russia, there's a scholarship now that is opening very soon, but it's opening by September. One of the biggest scholarship in Russia. You don't need to write the exam; you just apply. It's a government scholarship. You understand?
Wow.
I've done it for a lot of students. I think we did a call. The last time we did a call, I brought a girl. She didn't although she didn't get the full scholarship. She got half scholarship. The government will pay half of her tuition. She'll pay the remaining half. Why there are a lot of people that got full scholarship. You understand? So they not that they are writing exam or anything. So it's sweet to get the scholarship when you're in the federation than when you're in Nigeria and then you apply from your country and then you feel like you don't even understand anything in the language. You understand. So I used to advise people, when you come into the federation, do your language program, you can apply for different scholarship opportunities.
You really killed that. I love that. Thank you so very much for doing justice around that area. So the next question I want to ask you is about those legal requirements. Let's talk about some of those laws and all those things. So what are the legal requirements for obtaining temporarily and when it comes to temporary and permanent residence, in Russia? And what rights and obligations do foreigner actually that reside in Russia, what rights do they have?
I feel like getting PR in Russia is quite easy compared to other countries. All right. Now in Russia, once you're a student, you can apply for your permanent resident as a student. All right.
Wow.
Yeah. From your second
Okay.
year in school, from your second year, you can apply for your permanent resident. But the only thing is that now the only people that cannot apply for permanent resident is those that are doing part-time. If you are doing part-time, you might not be able to apply for permanent resident. But
Resident.
yes, but if you're full-time, you are doing full-time. Now, when you say full-time student too, education here is very easy. And if you are not, it's not that you'll be going to classes every time. You can even be doing your classes online. Like you can be doing online full-time class online. You understand?
Yeah.
Whereby
Yeah.
you work. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying now. But
Awesome.
like me now, I do online. I don't even before I go to lab or when I'm so busy, I don't even have time to go to classes. I just do online. You understand? So I'm still a full-time student, right? So, but if
Okay.
you're a part-time student, if you register for part-time, you might not be able to get your apply for PR. Okay. So, but if you're a full-time student, you apply for full-time, you can get your permanent, you can apply for your permanent resident. But you don't just
Wow.
get a permanent resident just like that. You get a temporary one first. Okay. Now, first of all, let me quickly chip in this. If you're a very, very good student and you come out with a distinction, like what we know as first class in Nigeria, if you come out with a first class in Russia, you get an automatic permanent resident.
Wow.
I don't know if you get that.
Wow. Nice one.
Yeah, automatic. But
Yeah.
yeah,
100%.
yeah. But for people who say they don't know book like me like this now, you understand? As a student, you can apply normally. All right. So with from your second year in school, you apply for your permanent resident, but you get the temporary one first, which is called the RPF. You get the temporary one. That one is for 3 years. Are we still on check? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a very
Yeah.
good.
You get the temporary one. Then once you get the temporary one, during that's for 3 years. Okay. So before that temporary one elapses, you get your permanent resident. Okay. So that
Oh,
temporary is just to check your stuff, monitor you, how you doing in the federation and all like that, to just do their normal rasmatas, you understand? So, but everybody knows that after temporary, what is remaining is permanent. All right. So that's just how the process goes. Then also some people use shortcuts, by just getting married to a citizen. If you're a lady, you got married to a Russian citizen, or you're a male, you got married to a Russian lady. Okay, you can also get your papers like Bistara, 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 like very fast. You understand? So that's
okay.
just it.
All right. That's good. Thank you so very much for that enlightenment in that area. So, another follow-up question I want to ask you is around the healthcare system. So, what exactly is the healthcare system like in Russia, and how accessible and affordable is it for foreign
Healthcare,
residents?
healthcare system, top notch. All right. The other thing is that you do your medical insurance every year. Medical insurance is every year. Okay. So and also from time to time you do your medical checkup. All right. So but once you have done your medical insurance, okay, so you when it gets to any issue of medical this thing, you are being take care, they take care of you for free because you've done your
Wow.
insurance. Yeah.
Okay. Then that insurance, is it quite expensive? Is it something that is
Well,
more affordable?
it's not like in my city. In my city now, we pay about 5,000 rubles. 5,000 rubles for 1 year.
For 1 year?
Yeah, for one
Wow.
year.
Wow.
I don't know
That's
what five.
quite
I don't know
cheap.
what naira. I don't know what 5,000 rubles is. In Nigeria we don't value insurance.
Yeah, I get it. That's quite cheap. That's
I
like
think that's
a kind of income that somebody can make in a day.
in a day 5,000. People make more than 5,000 rubles in a day.
You can imagine. People make more than 5,000 rupees in a day. Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so I think that will take us to the next question. So what are the options, for housing in Russia, and what should one know about renting or buying property as a foreigner in Russia, and what is actually the average cost of some of these rents in those
I think
cities that
I
you
think I've talked
recommended?
about
You
this
mentioned,
before. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
we'll talk
mentioned,
about the rent, and I think we can skip this question. I've talked about rent in Russia.
yeah, that's true. I remember now. You did that.
Yeah.
So another question is, are there established Nigerian or African communities in Russia? Like, in terms of these
100%. 100%.
support
Yeah.
networks,
Yeah.
social organizations, so that in case there are anything, all these migrants can come together and,
Everybody coming, everybody who have been helping to Russia, Nigerians,
definitely,
Nigerians are
yeah,
coming and migrating majorly. In fact, even on this call, 90% or 95% of people on this call, no be study, they won't come study. We
sure
know.
now.
Everybody won't come also. Everybody won't come find better source of living and all like that. So,
Right.
yeah, I don't know if you can hear me coming. So
Yeah,
with the Nigerian community, we are able to like help as many persons as possible to get their hands doing something. All right. Well, I used
awesome.
to tell people it's not about you need to come when you're coming, when you're traveling abroad, you need to go with an hustling mindset. Okay, whereby anything you find your hand doing, you're gonna do it as long as it's not illegal. That's why I used to tell people, as long as it's not illegal, anything you find your hand doing, you do it. Okay. So you're coming with that hustling spirit. So there's no job that is ridiculous.
Okay,
There's no job that is ridiculous as long as it's paying you very well. You get what I'm saying now?
okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
So well, there are a lot of Nigerian communities here whereby even in my city, we have a group chat, we call it Rabotai Kuze, staff job is here, whereby those Africans that come in, we put them on the group chat, you understand? We'll place them, we'll
Okay,
give them job placement, and same we have like that in other cities. That's why every of our client that comes in, you understand, some of them, even before they get in safe, job don't they wait for them already. You understand? So, but me, I used to tell
of
people
course.
that
I love
don't
that.
come with, don't do shakara for job. This one is what I can do. This one is what I cannot do. Some people come with a mindset of let me come and do an office job. I'm not saying you can't get an office job, but what if that's not the job you saw at first? Will you have to wait until you get office job before you start doing
Yeah,
something? They play.
office job. Mhm.
You understand? So that's just it. All right. Everybody abroad is hustling. Trust me. You go and
Hey,
call
correct.
your
No,
your people in the
all right.
UK. Call them and find out. Shit over power people here. Cool. Everybody's just doing shit. They'll do this one shit, this one shit, this one. See, but the most important thing is that if you are earning good money, you just keep. It's a different thing when you are working and you're not seeing
Its
what you're working
condition in
for.
Russia. Yeah. So
There's
when
a
it comes to
different
the aspect of the weather in Russia now.
when you talk about
So
weather.
what is the climate like? Yeah,
A lot of
in
people,
different parts of Russia.
a lot of people have different misconceptions when we talk about weather. Hmm? Some people feel
Yeah,
like first of all, let me say something. Some people feel like Russia is the coldest country in the world, but it's a lie.
that's right.
The only thing is that the coldest city in the world is in Russia.
Okay,
The
awesome.
coldest city in the world is in Russia. Not that Russia is the coldest country in the world. Every city in Russia
Mm,
is not cold the same way.
that's right.
The coldest city in the world is Yakutsk, is in Russia. Okay, just that is very very cold, and normally, who is even going to go there?
Awesome.
But
You can say
but
that again.
normally, everywhere in Russia is cold. Normally, you understand? During winter,
Yeah,
it's cold. But the way people used to say, like, people say Russia is the coldest place in the world. No. My city, Canada is colder than my city. I have a
wow,
sister in Canada. Sometimes during winter, sometimes she tells me their degree. I look at mine, yeah, is more colder than my place. You
wow.
understand? But let's even leave that aside. You talk about cold. I was asking somebody jokingly one day, I said, between heat and cold, choose one. Which one do you want? Heat can kill you, cold cannot kill you.
Of course,
If there's too much cold, you are going outside. There are winter. In fact, if you wear Russian winter jacket, you will not even feel cold. You wear a winter jacket, you wear your glove, you kit up very well. You will not feel cold.
that's it.
If you're in your room, every room has an heater. You're in your room, you on your room heater. You can't feel cold. So that one is not even a barrier to me. That one is not even a barrier for anyone that really know what he's doing and say, okay, he wants to come and it's not even a
Mm,
barrier. Canada, we people they rush,
that's
they
right.
go. Cold no day Canada. Canada is very cold, hope you know.
That's right.
So let's even forget that weather matter.
All right. So the next one. Okay, I think we've actually talked about this when it comes to the residence
Yeah, let's
permit thing and all
let's move
that.
to the next one because
Let's keep this one.
trying to
So,
trying to
what types of visa? Yeah, this question is very important. What type
yeah.
of visas are actually available for Nigerian migrating to Russia? And what are the specific requirements and documentation needed for each of these types so that they know exactly
Okay,
what and
now
what they want to do?
there are three main visas that people use to get into Russia. Okay, number one is the visiting visa, number two is the study visa, and number three is the tourist visa. Now, remove visiting visa, remove tourist visa. I don't used to advise it for people because if you get those visas, you can't use to do anything. The only visa I used to advise people to do is the study visa. I know
Okay.
you are not coming here to study. Me and you know that one. But unfortunately, there's nothing like a work visa. We'll have a study visa to get into the federation. Okay. So you get the study visa to just it's just for you to enter the federation. You get the study visa to come in to study the language program.
Awesome.
So whereby doing your language program, yeah, because don't forget that once you have a study visa, you can work full time with your study visa. You don't have to get a work permit. All right.
Yeah.
So that's the best visa to get. And there is nothing like to get the Russian study visa. In fact, I used to tell people that Russian study visa is actually the easiest and cheapest visa to get as of now. When I say easy, there's nothing like proof of funds. You don't need proof of funds to apply. You don't need proof of funds. You don't need statement, bank statement. All those things are not needed as of now. I don't know if tomorrow the government will say, okay, they start,
Asking for it.
yeah. That's why those are on this call now. The earlier, the better. Very soon now, Russia will be on the radar. Because now like this now,
That's right.
Nigerians are now getting to know the value in the Russian. That's why when you go to
Uh,
when you go to the embassy, you see a lot of crowd there. A lot of people are now getting to enter the federation because it's easy for people. And then when you get in, your mindset is going to change. When you enter the federation, you don't even want to leave again because you are now seeing a different aspect of what people are talking about. You understand? So, and because some people will come with the mindset of, oh, after some time, I want to leave. But I used to assure people, I said, I'm 101% sure that when you enter, you don't even want to leave again because the country is just so lovely and sweet to live in. All right. So I'm not just saying it from my own. We've brought in a lot of people into the federation. A lot of them are saying the same thing. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
that's right.
So yeah, so
Yeah.
that's just it.
So
So
that will take us to the next question I want to ask you so quickly. This one now talks about the aspect of the financing thing and all that. So, what are the best practices for managing finances in Russia, including opening a bank account, transferring African country you're in, having the local banking system too. All right, I think you want to talk on that too.
well, banking system in Russia is very, very easy. Okay. Even from your comfortable home, you can open your bank account. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yes, you said what? Banking system in Russia?
Banking system in Russia is very, very easy. Even you don't have
Yeah,
to even go to the bank self to go and open account. From your comfortable home, you open a bank account.
awesome. That's cool. Those are the
Yeah.
likes of OPM and money point. Yeah,
Your ATM card, everything, they'll bring it to your doorstep. You don't have
that's
to go
cool.
to the bank to go and do anything. You want to change money right from your phone. You convert from rubles to naira, naira to rubles, all those things, all those transfer, everything. It's so so easy, seamless, easy. Not like Nigeria, you have to go and queue or there's network problem. There's no network. Since I've been doing transaction in Russia, I've never experienced network problem once before. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, so sorry, I can hear you. It's actually my
Yeah.
network that out, so I'm just back right there. Sorry about that.
Yeah, so I've answered the question.
Yeah, so now on that, I think that was a very straightforward question. So thank you for the
Yeah.
answer you gave to that. So that would take us straight to the next one, which now we're talking about tax implications. So, what are the tax, implications like when it comes to for foreign
Funny
residents in
enough,
Russia?
I used to tell people that ever since I've been in Russia, I've never paid tax for
Yeah,
once before.
your income tax and all those social, taxes and all
Ever since I've been in Russia, I've never paid tax.
that. That's serious.
You know, one day
Wow.
I was having a discussion with my sister, right? And she's in Canada,
Um,
so she was telling me how much she's making, and then we were doing calculations. Like I was like, "Oh, you're making a lot of money, okay? Then how much are you able to save every month?" You know? So she was dissecting and bisecting the whole thing for me. She paid tax for this one, paid tax for that one, paid this one for this one. Then the question at the end of the day is now, how much is now remaining for you personally? So basically, she's only working to pay those amenities. She's working to pay those bills. She can't even she can even hardly save to pay her tuition fee, which is something you can do in Russia like easily. In Russia, it's very easy to study. You work and pay your tuition like stresslessly. You don't need to you pay instrumentally every month. You want to pay twice, you want to pay three times. So you work and pay your tuitions. Here in Russia, what the only thing we pay for, like I said before, is the medical insurance. You do your insurance every year. And also we have what we call registratia. That's registration. We pay for registration. And that registration is only for those that are staying in a private apartment. You're staying in a private apartment, you do registration. And that registration is valid for 6 months. If you pay today until the next 6 months before you pay another one. You
awesome.
understand? So I know
Awesome.
be say it costs, it's not expensive. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
Okay,
So
well,
yeah. So that's just it. So there's nothing
all
like
right, that's good.
yeah.
Yeah, so let's just move on to the next thing. Now, the next question I wanted to ask you, which is very important too, is around are there any government or non-government, like this NGO thing programs, that are actually aimed at, supporting migrants, immigrants rather, in the Russian, society and all that? Is there anything like such kind of assistance from
You
any
see,
NGO?
normally
Yeah.
the government of the federation itself, they give an open hand to international
Awesome.
students. You know, there's a different thing when you are in a federation whereby you are being restricted to a lot of things. And
Yeah.
or when or that it's different from when you are in a federation whereby the government themselves they want you to succeed. They give you the
That's
free hand. There are rules, but at the same time, you are free to succeed.
mm,
That's why I should tell people that there are a lot of opportunities in the Russian Federation. But it depends
awesome.
on you that is listening to me right now. How are you able to take advantage of those opportunities?
Those
I was talking
opportunities.
about
Yeah.
jobs before. I was talking about physical jobs. Apart from physical jobs, there are online jobs. A lot of online jobs that people do. Number one of the most highest paying online job in Russia is English teaching, teaching of English language.
Wow.
Where you teach English online from your comfortable home. I'm an English teacher here. I charge 3K rubles per hour. I'm not supposed to say, but let me just so that you can understand what I'm talking about. So if I teach for 3 hours, that's nine K rubles. If I change 9K rubles to naira, that's about not so that's like about 200K in just one day. Now
That's crazy. Yeah.
times that by a month, then you know that as an English teacher, I'm making millions every month. You know, that's just on one, and that's just like a side hustle for me. Just a side hustle, like can come out here, be happy. You understand what I'm saying?
Awesome.
Apologies,
That's
right?
a very good
So
one.
yeah. So and also their skill, people use their skill to make money. So if you are here, you are an hairstylist, you are a barber, you are a you are a chef, you are a model, you are a photographer, you are a graphic designer, you are a copyright, you are in the tech space, you make so much money because those services are they are in high demand. We have a lot of websites in Russia that whereby my God, That's like when some people ask me, how much can I make in Russia in a day? I used to tell them, if you really know what you are doing, there is no limit to the amount of money you can make in the Russian Federation. There is no limit. Different job website. Is it avito.ru? Is it ha.ru? Is it rabotics.ru? Is it joblab? A lot of them. So the government themselves give international students, give immigrants an open hand to succeed.
Oh,
And trust
okay, that's
Nigerians,
good.
Nigerians, they also. Oh my God.
You know,
That's why Nigeria is very
they
anywhere
play
they
with
get
it.
to, it's very difficult for them not to survive. Except for the one that does not know
Right.
what he's doing.
Awesome. Okay, so now let's quickly look into another part of this question I want us to treat. So what is actually the general safety? We come to security now. General safety and security situation in Russia.
Mhm.
And of course, what are precautions should new migrants actually take to ensure their safety? Because we'll be
Now,
hearing
talking about
different rumors.
safety, talking about
Mm,
security, Russia is one of the most secured nations in the world. Can quote me anywhere. It's not easy to be one of the strongest nations in the world, one
that's
of the
good.
most powerful nations in the world. When you talk about, in fact, this night, we're going out, me and my friends, 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the night. Nobody's going to stop you and say, hey, stop
Wow,
there. Or like everywhere is peaceful. The security is very tight, top notch. Top notch.
that's good.
In Nigeria now, if any country just vex and just fire one missile into Nigeria, no, nothing like air defense. So you think there's one air defense somewhere? You are joking. you are joking. You know. So when you talk about security, when you talk about when you are living somewhere and then you feel very safe. Let me talk about the war. Some of you on this call feel like, oh, there's war in Russia. Let me tell you something. There is no war in Russia. Don't let anybody. All this you are seeing online is just media propagandas. The Americans are
Wow.
using the media to fight with Russians. We that we are here, we know.
Yeah,
In
that's
fact,
interesting.
do you know that some of these things that people are saying in other countries, we that we are here, we don't even see it. Because even on the news, they don't even show it. Because everybody's going about doing
Yes,
their daily
so
activities. Everybody is going to their work. Everybody's making their money. Everybody's living peacefully and happily. No, you will not come here and see that, oh, maybe they throw bombs somewhere. I be the people are now running a task skater. You will
yeah,
never find it. I think I brought
wow,
a
that's
girl,
good.
the girl I was talking about. I brought her to your life. That was, I think, when did we have the live? Was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? That she has spent almost a year in Russia. I asked her the question. I said, have you in your city, have you ever seen anywhere maybe they are throwing bombs? She said no. Because that lady, I know she's one of the clients that
That's
she
right.
was always very scared when she wanted to come to Russia. The same thing, some of us on this call too. Some of you should have even been in Russia before now. But fear is what is doing most of you. Like I used to tell people, if you enter the Russian Federation, if you see how beautiful the place is, even you yourself, your mindset is going to change. And that's why, for those that understand what I said before, don't in Russia. If you know the happenings here, you want to rush here. You want to rush, like, let me be coming to Russia. And go and write it down. You'll
Wow.
see. You'll see. This country will be on a radar very soon, whereby it will be so difficult for people to enter. So difficult.
No, that's good.
Because trust me,
That's good.
before, Canada was very easy for people to enter. But now,
That's
Canada is having a cap.
good.
I used to tell people that even if tomorrow the country bring out any policy that will limit people from entering, we don't enter, we don't enter. Not anybody if you do again.
You know.
So the earlier, the better. That's
That's
just it.
right. All right.
Traveling
So
abroad never get easier. It gets more and more difficult. So the earlier, the
yeah,
better.
that's true.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate that. Okay, so we're just going to go straight to this aspect when it comes to bringing your families abroad. Like, what's the process for bringing family members, to the Russian Federation, including the visa requirements and any specific conditions or limitation for family, reunion, invitation, and all that, for them to unite again. So,
Now,
what do
coming
you
to
have to say
Russia,
about that?
for now, like I said, there's nothing like a work visa. There's nothing like family visa. There's nothing like dependent. I listed out three main visas, which is the visiting, study, and the tourist. But I've striked out the tourist and the visiting because of the complications there. The best one to use is the study visa. So if it's you and your fiance, both of you have a study visa, you'll get a study visa each. You and your wife, both of you get a study visa each. If there's no children among you guys, but if you guys already given birth, you guys have given birth already, then if the child is above 18 years, the child already have the necessary requirements, why not? The child can also apply for the study visa. But in a case whereby the child is not up to 18 years,
Okay.
or the child does not have the necessary requirement, then it means that the only way the child can come and join the parent is through the visiting visa. Now, if you want to apply for a visiting visa for that child, the question is, who is the child going to meet? Definitely his parent. So it means that before we're able to apply for a visiting visa for that
That's right.
child, either the father or the mother must have been in the Russian Federation. So either the father or the mother must have been in Russia
Yeah.
before we can apply for a visiting visa for that child to come and meet his father or his mother in Russia. Right? So, and even before the immigration will even issue the invitation, that father or the mother must be able to prove that they are financially capable of taking care of that child, that the child will not be a burden. So even the immigration will find out where are you working, how much are you earning, all those normal questions. They'll do their research, they'll find out that you are financially okay to bring your child over before they not issue before they issue an invitation for that child to come and join you. So, when you talk about migrating with family, I used to advise people the father or the mother can come first, because to be very realistic, I'm not saying when you come to Russia, automatically you'll be rich or immediately you start getting big money. No. There's a period of what we call finding your balance. It is normal. You are migrating to a new country. In fact, if you start a job today, within 1 month, you can change to another one. Within 3 weeks, you can see a better one, you change again. It is normal. Okay. It's a period of finding your balance. It is normal.
Yeah.
You understand? So by the time you find your balance, then why not? Your wife can come and join you. Your child can come and join you. You understand what I'm saying? So that's
100%.
just it.
Okay, so I think I want to give one or two people. Thank you so very much, Kelly, for those enlightenments and all that. So I think we should give one or two people, chance to also ask one or two questions. In case you have any, you're listening to this broadcast right now, and you actually have one or two questions, in your mind, maybe basically that we have not actually asked. This is the right time. Please, you can actually raise your hand so that I can actually unmute you right away here, so that you can quickly ask your question. You can use either the chat room or you raise your hand right now. From your phone right there, you can easily raise your hand. So once you raise your hand, I'm able to spot you here. Then you can ask your question. Okay, so let's do that real quick, real quick, real quick, real quick. Questions. Okay, in case you have any questions for Kelly, because Kelly is really, really way busy right now, and I know I've really taken so much of his time. Maybe we would have made like about 4,000 ruby right now for that 1 hour that we'll get together on this call. Apology for that. So please, in case we have any questions we want to ask, is the right time. Let's quickly do that quickly because we are wrapping up this meeting shortly. Okay, so Kelly, while we're waiting for people to come in with their question, I want to personally ask you, this. Somebody once asked me, so I'm asking you right now. So if the person decides to start up this process like tomorrow, like the person want to start the process of coming into the Russian Federation tomorrow, So what is like in terms of the duration that it will take before the whole process, before the person can land in Russia, it will begin from tomorrow. Do you understand my question?
Okay, yeah. Audio process, we'll start with translation of documents, translation, stamping, and authorization of document. So all the document will be translated to Russian. We'll take it to the immigration. They will do the stamping and authorization. Okay. So
All
then
right.
after that, we'll proceed with the admission. You pay your tuition fee payment. With they will proceed with the invitation. The invitation letter is what takes time. Okay, we'll take your document to the invitation to the immigration. We'll fill all the necessary things, and then they start to process your invitation letter. So once the invitation letter is out, it means that the government is now the one inviting you to come and study in the federation. All right.
All right.
So yeah. So once that is out, that one takes about 45 working days or less, or maximum of 45 working days. So once it's out, that's
Okay.
like the most important document. Once it's out, you just go and submit at the embassy to get your visa. And before you even go to the embassy, the school also would have sent it to the Russian embassy in Nigeria. So even before you go to the embassy, they're already expecting you. All right. So there's that. So the whole process will take about 2 months
That's very good.
maximum. Yeah, 2 months, maximum of 3 months. So what the intake that is open right now, we have September intake. September intake is open right now. So for those that want to apply, you can apply for the
Okay.
September intake. Yeah, you can apply for the September intake. So after the meeting, they should just get across to you, and then I'll just need their documents. You understand, for the necessary submissions and all like that. All right. So September intake. So for those that want to come by
Yeah,
September,
that's cool.
yeah, for those that want to come by
That's
September,
cool.
we'll start now. This is June, July, August. So you should have gotten your document to move in to the federation by August, by special grace of God.
Okay.
So yeah, that's just it.
All right. So once again, I want us to celebrate, Kelly for, for this call tonight. It has been so very exciting. Thank you so very much for those information. I believe everybody on this call listening right now, you have really, really learned, a whole lot, with this call. So I want to say a very big thank you to you, Kelly. So we have heard everything, right? So if you are making your decision to actually be part of this whole deal, all you just have to do, of course, if you are in our group chat, all right, you want to join that group right now. If you are not, Olivia, please, you can actually drop the group link, and you can also drop your number so that in case anybody needed to chat up to make one or two inquiries, they can easily do